Hello everyone! This is the second video from the Boulder City Library's Everyday Writing Workshop program. If you missed the first video of this program, we review how to create a resume and cover letter for job applications. In this video, we'll go over the elements of writing a thank you letter. So this video will include instructions on what common occasions call for a thank you letter, the basic elements of a thank you letter, how to craft a simple thank you note, and how to address an envelope for mailing. There are many occasions which call for a thank you note. You can write a thank you note for the most simple or grand of gestures. And the most common occasions for writing a thank you note are after a job interview, and this usually comes in the format of an email, after getting a job offer, after staying at someone's house, after receiving a gift, after a special occasion like a wedding or a birthday party, to acknowledge a teacher's efforts, after receiving a donation from a business, or after receiving a scholarship. There are more reasons for writing a thank you note or letter. These are just a few. When looking at this list, I want to highlight the difference in formality and writing mode that some of these thank you letters may have. For instance, if you're writing a thank you letter after a job interview, oftentimes this will be a more formal note that you may email, whereas a thank you note for staying at a friend's house may be a handwritten letter or card. When crafting your thank you note, it is important to think about the format you will eventually put it into, depending on the formality of the thank you. So a lot of common thank you notes may be just a handwritten card that you may take to a relative or friend. And these are really cute and they have a good sentiment behind them. They show a lot of care for whatever you received that deemed need for a thank you note. No matter the occasion or recipient of the letter, there are 5 main elements to a thank you note. So the first element is an opening address. Then afterwards, you'll have a thank you statement. Then you'll add in the thank you details. Then you'll add a closing statement. And finally, you'll add your closing signature. So to look at these 5 different elements, I wanted to show an example of a thank you card that expresses all of these different elements and shows you guys how to break them down. So this is an example of a thank you note just drawn out here on the whiteboard, and I have an example of an actual card later that has a similar message written inside. So this one begins with the opening address, so in this case it's the hi blank. So here you could write dear grandma, hi mom, anything of that nature. It's just your opening address to the person that you're writing a thank you note to. So the next portion, the thank you statement, is your very first sentence. So thank you for blank. This could be thank you for putting gas in my car, thank you for your wonderful gift, thank you for coming to my wedding, and so on and so forth. So that is where you're going to be putting your message of thanks. Then in the letter or note, you want to express why you're thankful. So in this I wrote, I really enjoyed X, Y, and Z. So you can say, I really enjoyed how much thought you put into this gift. It goes great with this other thing I have, and so on and so forth. So just talk from your heart and think about why you're very grateful for whatever that you're writing this thank you note for. And then in the end, just as a very simple note, I wrote, I hope you are well. You could also say here, I hope that such and such happens in the future. And that is your closing statement. And then your closing signature will include some sort of signifier. In this case, I wrote best and then my name, but you could write here sincerely, best regards, or any of those other closing phrases to letters. So like I said before, thank you cards can be either handwritten or they can be sent electronically, either through text message or email. But if you're writing a handwritten note, which I think is a lot more personable and a lot more thoughtful, you can use any sort of different thank you card that you can find. So you can hand make a thank you card, or you can store buy blank cards that you can write thank yous inside of. Both work very well for this situation. So I have 2 examples of some thank you cards I picked up from the dollar store. You can also find packs of just blank cards at like the 99-cent store, the grocery store, but the big point here is that they're just blank inside. So you get to write the message instead of having a generic message written by Hallmark or something like that. And you can see here, And you can see here that this is a thank you note that I wrote for Sam. It says, "Hi Sam, thank you for bringing your homemade bread into the staff break room to share. It was delicious. I hope you bake more goodies soon. Best, Kayley." So this has all 5 of those elements that we were talking about in this little card, and I hand wrote it myself. So it shows just some cute things. You can normally find packs of cards like this. So at the dollar store, they sell them in like 6 or 8 packs. So you have lots of thank you notes. That's a good bang for your buck. All right, and to pair along with these handwritten thank you cards, you can also write a handwritten envelope if this is something that you're going to mail to a friend or loved one. So here is an example of a mailing envelope that I wrote to Sam. You can see that both of our addresses are the Boulder City Library, but this is modeling where these different elements will go on an envelope. So the main address to where you're sending this is going to be in the middle center of the envelope. Your return address will be in the upper left-hand corner of the envelope, and then you'll put your stamp in the upper right-hand corner of the envelope. And once you're done, this is what you will put inside of the USPS drop box, and then it'll be sent to your recipient. So to look at this example a little bit larger, this is how you format an address on an envelope. So you can see I have my first and last name here, well, partially. You'll want to have the first and last name of your recipient so that it is delivered to the correct person. You can also put something here like grandma blank or grandpa blank. That's totally fine as well. It'll still go to your recipient. And then for the address lines, your first line will be your street address. So for the Boulder City Library, we're at 701 Adams Boulevard. And then the second line is your city, your state, and then your zip code. If you don't have enough room to put your zip code in the same line, like say you run out of room on your envelope, you can tuck it underneath the back portion of this city and state line, and that works perfectly fine too. But this is that second part. So your first and last name, your street address, and then your city, your state, and your zip code. And that's how you fill out an envelope to send in the mail. So before we wrap up this everyday writing video, I wanted to shout out this book that we have here at the Boulder City Library. It's 101 Ways to Say Thank You, Notes of Gratitude for All Occasions by Kayley Brown. And I think it's great because it has a whole bunch of different messages or examples of messages that you can write for thank yous of any different occasions. So it kind of breaks down some of the things that we talked about at the beginning of the book, and then it also just gives a whole bunch of different examples of how you can say thank you in 101 different ways. So I highly recommend this book if you guys watch this video and want to write some thank you notes. So check it out and we'll get it into your hands sometime soon. All right, everyone, this brings us to the end of another one of our everyday writing workshop videos. If you like these writing tips, please let me know what other methods or modes of writing you would like help with in the future by commenting below or messaging us through our Facebook or Instagram accounts. Again, this was brought to you by the Boulder City Library in Boulder City, Nevada, and I'm Kayley, the Information Services Assistant. All right, have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.